All right, we'll call the meeting to order. First, as always on the agenda, is last month's meeting notes that I don't have on here. So I'm going to vote on last month's notes. Any discussion, or I need a motion? Yes. Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion or anything? Everybody good with them? All in favor? By the way, sorry, Mark's not here today. I've got his vote, so all in favor. Opposed? Nope. Okay. We are skipping over, as we all know, skipping over course reports in the winter time, so we'll go right into staff reports and Darrell.
All right. Couple things to highlight. Revenue still trails by 133,000 over last year. Cart revenues down by 35. Guest revenues up by 10 and a half. And then merchandise revenue took a little hit in November. We lost a big sale due to an event and the weather, so it kind of shows a negative, down by 24. But the Christmas sales are rocking and rolling. And if you haven't got in, get your Christmas tree, do a drawing to get some money in. Leslie's got some great product in there. Total rounds are down 7,176 over last year. Member rounds down by 87. It's 8,788. Non-member rounds, like I said earlier, are up 1,612. As per Gary and the board, we put some weather stuff in there. We had a flood on the 7th, which hurt the river courses 2 days. They were closed. The other courses were closed 1 day. The front nine on Scottsdale remains closed. And I'm going to start including the temperatures for the day. So if the maximum for the day doesn't get to 35, we're going to close the golf course. And we only had 1 day in November. That was on the 12th that all golf courses were closed. So it's hanging in there. I ran the numbers for December, and we got some golfers out there, which is good. So we're making some ground a little bit. The total rounds for November were above last year's of November by 1,300 and something. So that's all right. But kind of a direct reflection. You see the weather turns, we start to get some golfers in there on that side. All right, any questions on just rounds and revenue? It's short and sweet.
I do have one question on the guest rounds being up 10.5 over last year. What are you kind of feeling that that's related to?
Comes to two things, Jason. One of them is kind of a snowball effect. We started promoting. Kim's does a great job on the website. We had those commercials beginning of the year, and it's kind of snowballed, kind of building up. But what I'm noticing, and Alex is out at Highlands, is that new bypass is helping Highlands and Scottsdale a lot. There's a big community down the road in Centerton that's growing every day, and we're seeing a lot of people traveling in, coming to Highlands playing. You see the weekends rounds on Highlands increasing for sure, and that's a community that's just driving down, and $50. That's a good deal, because they can go, if they go up to Lost Springs, it's, they're playing $60-70 up there. Pinnacle's $180 to play up there, so there's really nothing around. So we're starting to see that jump in a bit, and they come in and they love it. Absolutely, the facilities are great, the staff's good, so that's why I'm seeing it.
Yeah, and following up on that, also Centerton is a young community. I mean, so it's really, many of the people who are moving in there are the middle management type, so they're in the 35 kind of age, 35 to 40 age group, so it's a good group to go to get.
Yep, for sure.
You also have the Highlands area itself is growing. The new builds in Highlands West, primarily because of the bypass.
Yes, sir.
Is growing quite rapidly, so I think we'll see an uptick. And the age level of the people that have been moving in our neighborhood is low, is middle income or middle aged. So that's going to help too.
Cool. Yes, sir.
I had one more question for you on how many groups and players have you seen that are using the mats?
All right, I'm going to cover that here in a minute.
Oh,
it's on the agenda. Well, that's up next. Anybody else on the financial side?
Yeah, that seems like an awful big swing on the merchandiser revenue.
Yeah,
We
we,
went from 2,000 up to 24,000 down in one month.
we had a big event that we purchased, or we sold to, and we reimbursed gift certificates for an event. We will be doing that later on in the year in January. So we kind of get some revenue back on that, and we did lose a sale, big event due to weather, tournament in beginning of November.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't really loss of merchandise sales, it was loss of. Wasn't really loss of actual product, it was a change in the merchandise certificates.
Correct.
Okay,
They weren't able to comp an event from last year.
What used to have happened back in the days also is, and LT's done a fantastic job on this, is we would have a big sale come in. You know, we had the expo, so we'd sell a lot of stuff for $1 that cost us X amount. But what happens is that influences the months. So as we've gone through 2019, we have tried to, if we had a big sale in a tournament, we would move it to another account. So it wouldn't hit the pro shops as much, but it's a merchandise sale. And take, for instance, Gavin down at Kingswood. He would have a big sale come through there, and they would buy merchandise for shoes for the tournament. So you would have a $40,000 sale. Well, previously that would stay in his budget. So that month of June or July, he would look at his sales and goes, man, I got it $40,000 because they might have done it in 18 for the shoes, but they didn't do it in 19. They've got somebody to sponsor that sale. So they come in, and all of a sudden he's got a big goal to hit. So we're trying to keep it constant with the sales and not do tournaments and put tournaments to tournaments. That's where that happens.
Do you record the gift certificate sale at the time they purchase the gift certificate or at the time they redeem it?
It is done when they redeem it. And that's a big one. That's what hurt in November. Okay?
The big event was the mixer.
The mixer.
3 days, and it keeps them here in the clubhouse, and they buy in the pro shop, and they use your certificates and we buy, so I mean, it's
We-
kind of double whammy.
Yeah. We do bag sales. We do bag raffles, so we would raffle off 5 to 7 bags and everything like that. So that hurts a little bit.
So it wasn't just an outing or anything like that, it wasn't one of our major pro shop people.
Yeah. But LT's on top of it, and December's looking really good right now. Okay, we're going to move on to the mats like Gary wanted to talk about. I just want to say something. We ordered our next batch of mats yesterday. So we have ordered, this will be the 3rd order of mats, golf mats that's going in. We order them at 40 at a time, and the reason we do that is we don't want to get stuck with 300 mats sitting in the pro shop for another year till Christmas, because that costs money. So we go on to 40 at a time. So right now we had 80 sold out. New batch come in. I've had a lot of membership, some of the groups that are, this is fun, it's a great deal, it's helping. I've had some groups that some of the players have said, well, you need to enforce it. Well, I just want to tell everybody, we can't enforce it. We can suggest it, we can recommend it, but it's up to the golf leader, the group leader, to decide what they want to do. You know, they do. One of the membership reached out to me and he goes, well, they do it at Scotland. I said, yeah, but they give you the mat to go around. We can't afford to give everybody a $25 mat to go around or keep it. It'll go missing, stuff like that. We got private carts as well out there. So the groups that are using them are enjoying them, to answer your question. Some of the groups, some of the players within the groups, some use them, some don't. But a lot of them do. We're on our 3rd order. So it's a good thing that we implemented, and it's for the players.
You know, if you run out of mats, they can buy that mat on Amazon.
They want to buy it from us, Gary.
I understand that. But I'm just saying, but if they want it and you don't have it,
Yeah, we are.
2-day delivery and they get it for $25, so it's $4 more.
Yeah, it's more expensive from Amazon. We got it in the pro shops. Yeah.
so I have one, I love it.
There we go.
Love it, love it. Takes all the unevenness out of the ground, and I think you did a great job of choosing one that's heavy enough to stay.
Awesome.
Right, I love it.
And I want to thank the membership and Jerry too, because when we started doing that, we tried different things, and I tried them, and it was a mess. But we found one that works, and LT for getting it at a cheaper price than you can buy it anywhere else. So that's great. Good teamwork come together on that one. So it's great. All right, we got another thing on a teamwork. It's kind of board, and Keith came to me, was approached by another board member. We've talked about this for a while, but we could never find something that worked, and that is nowadays we move into these lasers that hit the pins, and if you got a little bit of shake or you're at a far distance, it's hard to hit it. So a year ago, I looked at the little things that go on top of the flags. It's a plastic little clip that goes on top of it. They are expensive, and they break pretty easily. And moving around in the mornings in the dark and stuff like that, it's not beneficial to do it. So Keith came up with one of the members came to him and David and said, this is what we're looking at, it's a reflective tape. But this won't work because if we wrap it around, it's too long on this side, it's too narrow to go around this way. So I've done some research and I have ordered some tape that is coming in for us to do a trial. It is on back order. Well, Christmas too is probably why they can't get it to me. So I'm expecting it early January. Give it to Keith's guys and we're going to hit the golf courses and we're going to wrap it around. It's about 2 inches deep. And then we've got enough that we'll be able to probably do 2 golf courses. We'll see how it goes. I'll get out there with my reflection laser and see how it works out. But that's another thing that's come to us that we're going to try and improve and help golfers out.
Yay.
Any questions on the tape? It's got little prisms on it, and that's what helps the lasers shoot back a lot quicker. Now, some of the more expensive lasers, it's easier, but when you get down to the affordable lasers, that's when it hurts a little bit. So we're gonna try and make it easier.
Excellent.
All right. Next on the agenda, we got Alex stepping up right here. He's over over Highlands and Scottsdale, and he's going to be heading up the tournament schedule for 2020. In 19, we threw a bunch of stuff around. Some stuck, some didn't. We've had a meeting with the pros, and Alex is going to take it over and have a look. And it's not just him alone. He's got a good little crew. We get together and we visit, and we go from there.
Yeah, we've been working on the 2020 tournament calendar for the last couple of months, discussing amongst ourselves and the golf team what's worked, what hasn't worked, what dates might need to be moved, and just any changes that we've wanted to make to the 2020 calendar. We have our dates pretty well set, we think, for the most part. Our final calendar will come to you in February for a final go for. We've added 3 new events to the calendar, 2 of which are going to be at the Brittany Golf Course. We wanted to highlight the use of Brittany a little bit more than we have in the past. First would be a par 3 event at the Brittany course to make sure that everybody knows that you can play that course as a par 3 course now. Second event at Brittany is going to be a parent-child championship. When we looked at our tournament offerings, we decided that it would be a good idea to promote a little bit more junior golf, more family golf at the Brittany course. So we'll have a parent-child championship late in the summer season in August, just before school starts back up. And our final new event is going to be a superintendent's revenge type of event. And if anyone's heard how those works, Keith and his staff are going to set up the golf course as difficult as possible, put the pins in the most impossible spots, put your tee boxes on slopes, put who knows what in the middle of the fairways. You know, there's all kinds of creative things that we've seen done for superintendent's revenge tournaments. But that should create a nice buzz, and it'll be a good, fun event to add to our calendar.
So did the superintendent out at Highlands practice that last Sunday?
Just on a couple of holes, yeah. Just a little creativity out there in your wintertime golf, you know. But that event will be held at Dogwood, and should be a lot of fun. Should create some good buzz.
One other thing with that is the superintendents from that facility will be in a group as well, so they get to realize maybe that wasn't such a good place for that when they hear all the comments.
They get a little taste as well, I guess.
Eat what you cook.
Yeah. And as soon as we get the tournament calendar all set with you in February, we're going to throw everything out onto the web and out to the membership all at once, instead of just kind of piecing everything out month to month and saying sign up now. We're just going to put it all out there, sign up whenever you want to, and hopefully that just lets everybody get their calendars all set together. And probably promote a little bit more golf earlier than we have been. Any questions on the tournament calendar?
The parent-child, are you anticipating just strictly parents and kids, or if a child does not have a parent or grandparent to play, somebody else can play with them?
The way I've written it up so far is parents, step-parents, and grandparents.
So if you've got a neighborhood kid who wants to play and they don't, okay.
Yeah.
Just an idea, once you have that ready and out, you might want to call in at the newspaper and see if she'll write an article about it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's on my list, so thank you for that.
The other day, I talked with Darrell about another idea for a tournament. I don't know if your group talked about it, but it was a year-long or season-long old pal, like we used to call it in Minnesota, where it's a twosome. You pair up yourself, get a partner, and you play a match play
Yeah.
throughout the year.
We have actually talked about that. We had it called Summer Series is what we're looking into. I'm still kind of working out exactly how it will work
Okay.
as far as what tees to use and exact formats and things like that. But yeah, we've seen that done at a lot of other clubs, and
Yeah.
I've done it myself at other ones very successfully. And it's kind of just an extra thing. It doesn't take up any courses for the day.
No, and you make up your own.
You make up your own times,
You
and
gotta have a
yeah.
certain date it has to be done by.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Love that idea, and we are certainly looking at that.
if you-
More to come on that
If
one.
you need any assistance on your committee, I'd be more than happy to.
Sure.
to
Okay.
help,
Thank
so
you.
let me know.
One of the things when Gary and I spoke about is a little different if you're just a private club, one course. We got 5 courses, so we got to look at a month. You play Highlands.
Yeah.
Next month you play Scottsdale. Next month you play Country Club, and that's where the match has to be held, because otherwise you're showing favoritism. I like Highlands. Somebody I'm playing against might not like Highlands. So I got to win there. Ching ching, move on.
Yeah.
But so we're going to look at that too, and the crew's done a good job, and Alex is heading it up this year, and he's stepped in. And it's really good. The idea of putting stuff out earlier, so people can plan their summer around it, look at stuff, ideas. Keeping a booklet there, we can see what's going on. So sign up early, get in, and we can kind of move our tournaments. This year, we'll let you know 3 weeks to a month ahead. Here's the sign-out sheet. And people got stuff planned. We don't want to do that. We want to go on and get it out by end of February.
Yeah. Make
Now,
sure they know it's coming.
Yeah, and you can look at it and go, all right, there we go. I can go on a cruise in July, because it's not, or in June, because we have no tournaments going on in June. We've got all our outside tournaments coming in. So we're going to see how it works, but kudos to Alex and the pros. So we'll see where we go.
I
on
remember
that.
a comment that was made here earlier this year by one of the board members about the club championship. And it wasn't promoted, it wasn't well played by a number of players, and wanted to know if the committee was going to do any more promotions, run the tournament a little bit better. I don't know if there's any thought on what we're going to do from a club championship standpoint, if we're going to get involved in doing that, or I don't know if we're in discussion.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's still kind of in discussion exactly what we're going to do. We've got it on the calendar yet, but we still haven't fleshed out exactly how we want to do it. Last year, I'll agree, whatever happened, it wasn't very well attended. We didn't get a lot of participation in it, certainly not as much as we'd want. So we have to look at it a little bit deeper and see what we can do to get some players back in it, because it has been successful over the past few years, just last year wasn't.
So your committee is looking at all the tournaments, not just these 3 new tournaments?
No. This is each event.
All the POA events.
That's what I was just
Yeah.
getting ready to say.
All our POA events. So what we did is, we reached out this year, and I said a while back, we're working on the calendar. We get the big ones like the Cancer Challenge, Sharing and Caring, APT. We get those all lined out and locked in on a 2-year contract, and we did it this year. So we got those set, and then we build our tournaments around it. And you have a look and you say, all right, this works for the membership. Then we reach out to the committees like the WGC and the MGA. We make sure we don't have any conflicts with that. And then we've kind of based it. If you go into my office, you'll see the big chart up on my wall, and we've kind of pieced it all together. We got to look at aeration dates. That's a big part as well that comes in. So there's lots of steps that we did, and we're pretty secure on the dates that we got going on now. And are we going to keep everybody happy? I'm just going to tell you it's hard. There's no ways we keep everybody happy. This year, we made some people upset. We got it. We've also, with the introduction of Kelly in the office, we're going to do some social media promotions more than we've done in the past, which is good. And then we're just going to get it out there. I've reached out to a couple of the other pros on some of our events that aren't just member-driven, like the rally, the prostate, veterans, Folds of Honor. All those events, I've reached out to the other pro shops, talking about other professional like Pinnacle, Lost Springs, and them. That isn't just for our membership, and a lot of them don't have those events. And it's kind of interesting. I assume, because we do it, everybody does it, and that's the worst to assume, right? So they're willing to go on and throw the pamphlet up in their pro shop. And we've got a community here. It's not just about our rounds. It's about the community, because we donate that money back to local. You know, Mercy went to Mercy. So you got Pinnacle down the road, Mercy's right there. Their members want to play in it. So DJ and I had to talk about it, so we're going to go from there. So it's a good deal.
I have a question. On the match play, the 18-hole women's group has a match play event. And so I don't know if you were thinking about opening it just to the men, or you're going to think about couples, or you?
Added as men only, actually.
Okay.
Men only, because the WGC have theirs and some of the other ladies group have their match play going on. So the men used to have the Village Cup 4 years ago, and it had a falling out and just it kind of died out. So this is introduction to try to bring back and stimulate golf rounds.
Do you run yours all season? Is the season long, or is it just
It normally starts in May and goes till October.
Yeah, it's going to be very similar to what the WGC
And right
does.
now, we're looking at, they've had so much trouble when you try to get 4 people to come up with a play date within a certain period of time. It's very difficult. And so we're looking at possibly revising it back to a singles match play event, which originally, when it was set up, that's the way it was run. So we haven't decided yet.
I know some of the regular groups also have match play events. I know the one I play in. And it gets a little difficult to schedule all those matches. I mean, you know, you just, and like you say, trying to agree, and it seems like it goes on forever and ever. So I don't know that, it might work.
Is that it for Alex? Good job, bud.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, Alex. Mr. Keith?
Only because we've talked golf rounds, and Highlands is by far the worst. I'll give a little update on rainfall. It's pretty bizarre, 93 inches at Highlands from counting December of 18 all the way through November of 19, and the average is 43, so we're double. So, and the other part of that that's interesting, we're averaging a quarter of an inch per day for 333 straight days, which is crazy. And it's rained 23% of the time. So even if it wasn't a rain out, it was rain, which there's a lot of people that don't enjoy playing in rain. So you can kind of see what the pattern has been as far as weather and its impact on golf.
And on there too is carts on path. I mean, not only playing in the rain, when we go carts on path, it reduces play considerably.
Yeah, 82 total rain events last year. That's something that's a quarter of an inch or more, so that's crazy.
Could we put that in one of the golf update, the flyer that comes out, just to let everybody know what that was like?
Kim has done in the past. I was thinking about rerunning it maybe.
That's, I was actually going to get with Keith after this. For this water bill, because I've got nothing going on in golf as far as informing membership in this water bill, Greg's looking for something to put in. I'd like to do frost line, the water deal, what's happened, just to keep people, because not everybody gets the golf update email, and this will get out with the water bill, so it's sidebar afterwards, and
Okay.
pretty good.
Let's go to the Scottsdale update. I went to a board work session last week to ask for some funding to start the process for the repairs of the 2 bridges at Scottsdale. That process is the engineering for the repair, what the repair will be in order to get the necessary permits. And I believe, and somebody behind me that's a board member can correct me, but I think it's going to be voted on. Yeah, to start that. We used Crafton and Toll to give us the estimates. They gave us some estimates on the repairs because they have done a lot of bridge work. The problem we came across with Crafton and Toll is their scheduling, and it was going to be delayed quite a bit. In other words, we might not get the work done till the end of May, 1st of June. So I've engaged another engineering firm, the one that did the work here at Bella Vista Country Club on the master plan. They think they can narrow that window, maybe 30 days. They have not gotten back to me yet. We feel like the cost for the engineering is going to be about the same. So once we determine who can get it done the quickest, and I expect something from them today because I told them I needed to know if they could do it or not before the board actually voted on it. And the good news is...
Who is that company?
That is Burns and McDonnell.
Okay.
And you expect to have something in the next 30 to 45 days from them?
No, I expect to...
Earlier than May?
I expect to have a proposal for them by the end of the week telling me if they can do it on a window that's better than the window we currently have. They led me to believe, in just an off conversation, looking at the bridges and their schedules, that they thought they could start the process 30 to 45 days quicker. So that gives you 30 to 45 days on the back end. So that's what we're hoping for.
Are we looking at repair or replacement?
It's only repair, and what I was going to say is it's not as bad as I was afraid it would be. There's a way to secure it, repair it. I almost would call it a temporary permanent repair. They're going to give us an option on really going in and making it even more sturdy so future would not damage it again. Basically, the early repair would be riprap with some stabilization, but that's not a permanent with that amount of water going through there possibly. They're not going to guarantee that forever, but there are no guarantees on the bridge and water anyway. So with somewhere around 160,000, I think, is what we were at. I'm going to look real quick. No, for the whole thing, repair and all. However, a large part of that is engineering and permitting. So that's where we are with that bridge, both of those bridges, and getting the golf course open, because I'm pushing to get open as soon as we can, where we can do the work this time of year. And we've talked, Darrell and I have talked about possible reroutings to open, and there's just, so far we haven't come up with any. There's no way to play number two because you can't get to, so best you could do is run a bunch of carts opposite directions and have a lot of challenges with danger there and still only play 17 holes. So we're pushing to get it repaired so that we can get the entire thing open before early in the golf season is the goal. The other thing that was interesting, we went out to, I went to Burksdale once the water got down where that debris kind of settled, because, we can't get on the bridge and pull it off, so you really can't see. Well, we've lost another pier over there on that upstream side. There's 5 piers that go across long ways, and then there's 3 rows of those. So now you're missing the middle 3 on the upstream side, and it has sagged more. So it's more at risk than it was of parts of it maybe collapsing. The board discussed that, what we should do with that. Right now, we're just going to watch it. However, we have sent a letter. Tom sent it to wastewater because they have their line across that bridge currently. I mentioned it to them back when we had the flooding in April that they needed to look at that, and they kind of did, so we put a little more emphasis on the importance of that, because if the bridge would fail, not only would that not be good to have in the water, but not to scare anybody that lives on the east side of 71, but all sewer from the east side of 71 crosses that bridge. So it would be a little bit of a problem over there.
Which bridge were they?
The abandoned bridge on 18 Burksdale. So they're working on their part. We're going to continue to watch it. It's about $75,000 to take that bridge down and get it out of there. I have a water line that crosses it, and we have isolated it on both sides, so we're not at risk, and we still have water on both sides for the Burksdale side, should we open the other 9 later. And we have Kingswood, they both have their own pump station. The advantage of that water line across there was if one station went down, we had water to the other golf course, but we will not repair that right now till more permanent decision is made on that bridge.
If the bridge collapsed, then we're not at risk for that water, is that what you're saying, for the golf courses?
Right, we have water.
Okay.
We're ready for that.
But the sewer lines there.
Yeah.
Keith, what about, I noticed we were at Kingswood Sunday. The erosion there by the maintenance road, it appears to be, again, even worse than it was at the beginning of the summer. It's getting closer to the highway and everything else. Are we going to have to do something with that this year or not?
No, we don't plan to do anything with that this year. I think it's a couple years down the road, we hope. Depends on what kind of events we have.
I'm going to jump in, Keith, again. I'm talking a lot today. Sorry, Jason. You're good. Burksdale, the opening, everybody knows I was looking to getting Burksdale bids that came in for fences and to get it open. But with the assessment failing, that money was too high, so I've had to rebid it, relook about a different way to get it open, so it really hurt. So right now, it's still on the table, and I'm working with Gavin and Reed and Mr. Walsall to figure out what we're going to do now. Now we're on Plan C, so we'll figure it out. We needed that vote to pass so we could have a little bit of money in there for it.
How much ballpark are we looking at there? I mean, is it 10,000, 100,000, or 500,000?
It was over 100.
Do you think we'll have that by January, or will we look in February?
Let's get this vote through, and we'll go from there.
Yep, perfect.
The bid that, Daryl, that you're talking about, over $100,000, is that for all the fencing, and what does that include?
Fencing was the main part of it. Due to it was in a floodplain and the type of fencing that needed to be used, so it wouldn't jam up everything and do more destruction down there, as well as the widening of the car path on number 2, down the hill, signs, fencing on number 1, mulch, rock, everything. It wasn't mulch, it was more rock. You got to make stuff more secure when carts go across it. Speed bumps down number 2, more stuff like that.
I'd like to go back and give the actual numbers out of the memo that went to the board on December 3rd on the repairs to Scottsdale, so everybody's clear. $181,500 is the estimated repair, including all engineering. That's subject to what they find and what they would have to do. It could be more, it probably won't be less, but it could be more. Of that, what was going to be asked for approval is $38,000 to get it started. That's to get permits and do what you need to do. The following items have to be done. There's $5,000 for survey. There's $18,000 for hydrology and hydraulic engineering and permitting. There's roadway engineering and erosion control for 10, and there's letting for 5. So that's where you get the 38. Letting, which is a part of the contract on when you get the plans in place, so you go out and bid it. Because what we'll do then is go out and get 3 bids of the actual construction cost. This is just one estimate from an engineering based on his experience. This is not that 181 less the 38 for what they do know the cost is an estimate only. We will bid the construction parts. So, 150 of it is construction, give or take.
Is that for both 2 and 5?
That's for 2 and 4.
2 and 4?
Yes, sir. Total project.
Not quite as bad as we thought.
What's that?
Not quite as bad as we thought.
No, it could have been a lot worse.
Good. Anything else for Keith? Mr. Spencer? You awake? Got anything for Keith? Okay. Haven't heard from you, so I was just wondering. Okay. General Management, Tom's not here. Board, Ruth, Jerry? No? Comments from our public, John? I'm not here. They're not here? Okay. Okay, yes, Ruth.
I really believe strongly that we need to get out just how much the weather did affect this year. Because we've had some good growth in areas that aren't showing up simply because of the negative of lack of grounds when we've had so many nasty days. I mean, when you're talking 93 inches of rain, that kind of overwhelms you for this part of the country, so.
Good point. Well, I know during the summer, the junior program, and I'm sure that's going to continue this year, and hopefully bigger and better. But I know going to Highlands and hitting golf balls every once in a while and seeing all the kids and Hillary and Alex and the crew, that's awesome stuff to see. So,
Greg put something in here that's kind of interesting when you think about 93 inches of rain. You compare to Shaquille O'Neal. Everybody knows Shaquille O'Neal, right? He's only 85 inches tall. So even he would drown if he was out here.
that's perspective.
What did you say average is out there?
43.
is our average.
Yeah. All right, good. Real quick, I just wanted to say something since we're closing 2019 out with this meeting. Huge thank you. Of course, we've said it over and over with Keith and his crew, 93 inches of rain, especially Greg at Highlands. But the work they've done this year is just amazing, and keeping the courses open as best they can. I know they don't get a lot of love sometimes, but they've done an amazing job. Daryl and his crew with the tournaments and changing things around in clubs and the groups and all that good stuff. That's because of the closing of the courses. We appreciate you guys, and Kelly coming on board, and she jumped in full force. And I know there's been a little bit of social media bip on her, which is totally unacceptable because she does a fantastic job. The committee, we appreciate you guys, of course. I know the board does. I appreciate your support you guys have given me as your chairman. Looking forward to 2020. Can't go without thanking the board for all their support that they've given us in 2019. I feel like there's been a lot of progress in the communication between the board and this committee. I know a few years ago there was a few challenges, and I think we've overcome that and got it back going. So, and the rest of the staff, Tom's staff, Tammy obviously hits every single committee meeting there is, so she works extensive hours, and I don't think a lot of people out there understand what the staff goes through. So just thanks, everybody. Looking forward to 2020. And with that, happy holidays. Everybody be hopefully good with their family. Yes,
Yeah,
Susan.
sorry, just a quick
Okay.
administrative note. I'm
Yep.
going to have I'm leaving town on Saturday morning, so I'm going to have the notes out by noon tomorrow. If you could look for those and read them and give it back to me so I can get all done before I bail out.
Perfect.
There
Okay,
is one
thanks.
thing I forgot to report on that you told me to do. Tanyard Creek, we are
yeah.
going to paint the target greens with a dye, so you'll be able to see your targets. We did that last year. Rob did that last year. We're doing it again. It's scheduled to happen Friday. So I apologize for forgetting to report that. Target greens. Around the posts so that they're a little more visible to hit at a target.
Spot.
And thank you, Keith, for having the gold tees marked. It makes a world of difference out there. It's so much easier to spot.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That was my bad. I forgot something too. So Keith, you okay? All right. It's Christmas time, but I had a lady come in yesterday, and I'm in my office, and I always hear, "Is Daryl in?" I'm like, "Oh no, what's going on?" And she comes bebopping in there, and she just had her arms out, and I'm like, "Okay." And I give her a hug, and she goes, "Thank you for painting the tees." And I said, "Oh, that wasn't me, but that's Keith, so thank you." So it was a good deal.
Well,
They
yeah,
ecstatic.
we're going to do that all year because even when it's green, I think it'll be easier to see. And I have to thank Mary and her husband too because they They changed the outlook of my entire staff last week on Friday. The way they looked when they got there and the way they looked when they left. They brought food. They allowed us to have a Christmas party with their food, homemade cookies, homemade sandwiches, and we got to use the budget that was given to us by the POA to give out some gift cards. So from a morale standpoint, I owe you a lot.
Kudos. Yes, nicely done. That's what the community's about. Absolutely. All right, happy holidays, everybody. Adjourned.